Well, guys, I'm Steve. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If it's your first time stopping by the channel, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't regret it. If you're a returning subscriber, as always, guys, welcome back, and I do appreciate the support. Guys, I talked extensively in my live streams, told funny stories and stuff, and talked about the life of my grandparents. And my grandfather recently died last year. You know what I'm saying? God rest his soul. I shared that with you guys on here. And we talked about that and did some live streams and stuff and, talked about it. And I love my grandparents. They raised me. And a lot of their old school principles I have in me, not by choice, but just, from being around them. And they tried to put the best they could in making me a good person out here in the world. I love my grandparents. I'm sure a lot of you do too. I talk a lot about abuse on this channel. A lot of times it's children. Sometimes it can be, spousal. A lot of times it's elderly, which is just as bad as child abuse to me. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to somebody that's no longer here, and I'm sure she was a hell of a woman. This woman that you see here is Dinora Cardoso. She was 79 years old. Last May of 2023, she died. And she died horribly and miserably. These three people that you see up here right now, ladies and gentlemen, we'll go in order. This is the mother, the grandmother, and the nurse that was in charge of the care of this woman. Eva Fontes Cardoso, age 53, Kayla Cardoso, age 31, and Lisa Hamilton, age 64. All three of these people were in charge of taking care of this woman right here, Dinora Cardoso. And this story takes place in Brockton, Massachusetts. My girl Kimberlette Moon sent me this morning. Shout out to her. And the reason why it's making news now is because all three of these pieces of crap went to court. I want you to listen closely to this story and put yourself in the mind and body of the victim who tragically lost her life, Miss Dinora Cardoso, and just imagine what she went through. Stuff like this is unforgivable, and once it's realized that these are the people that did it, they need to be dispatched. There's no excuse for doing this to anybody, let alone your own parent. Take a look.
Well, now we go to a really disturbing case of elder abuse out of Brockton. Last year, an elderly woman died of extreme neglect, and today, her daughter, granddaughter, and a nurse faced a judge. NBC 10's Eli Rosenberg live outside court with a closer look at really what are shocking allegations that they're facing. Eli?
Yeah, most definitely, JC. These three women were paid to take care of the victim, a 79-year-old who lived in the area. But when there was an emergency and 911 was called, prosecutors say emergency crews found deplorable conditions inside, so bad the victim was taken to two different hospitals where she died 2 days later.
Calling the matter of the Commonwealth versus Eva Cardoso.
Prosecutors say they were paid to take care of a woman in need. But those prosecutors alleged their actions led to her death. Three suspects, handcuffed and wearing surgical masks, led into court in Brockton on Friday. This after this woman, 79-year-old Dinora Cardoso, died in May 2023.
How do you plead? Guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty. Prosecutors from the Attorney General's office in Plymouth County DA say Cardoso's daughter, Eva Cardoso, dressed in the gray sweatshirt, was in charge of her mom's care, paid through a state program to be her personal care attendant.
And it is Ms. Cardoso who called 911 to report the condition that her mother was in. And her mother was in very poor condition.
And prosecutors say when emergency crews arrived, they found deplorable conditions inside Cardoso's room.
They immediately observed bed bugs and cockroaches climbing in the bedding and on the person of Dinora Cardoso.
Prosecutors also say Kayla Cardoso was the victim's granddaughter and her grandma's healthcare proxy. And Lisa Hamilton, seen here, a visiting nurse, paid to check up on Cardoso, who also had, according to prosecutors, severe diabetes.
Lisa Hamilton Eva Cardoso and Kayla Cardoso would have had to have seen the cockroaches and the bed bugs and the feces, and they did nothing about it.
And prosecutors say these three were paid more than $140,000 through the state program Mass Health. All three are due back in court here in Brockton in mid-January. Live in Brockton, Eli Rosenberg, NBC 10 Boston.
Guys, I got an article up here from Law and Crime TV that just broke yesterday. And it reads as follows. 3 charged in the death of elderly woman found stuck to a mattress infested with cockroaches, bed bugs, and feces, prosecutors say. A Massachusetts daughter, granddaughter, and nurse are accused of extreme neglect that led to the death of an elderly woman found stuck to a mattress infested with cockroaches, bed bugs, and feces. Eva Fontes Cardoso, age 53, Kayla Cardoso, age 31, and Lisa Hamilton, age 64, face charges of manslaughter, caregiver neglect of an elderly, larceny, and Medicaid fraud in the death of 79-year-old Dinora Cardoso, the Massachusetts Attorney General's office announced in a press release. Eva Cardoso, the victim's daughter, was hired as Dinora Cardoso's personal care attendant, PCA. Kayla Cardoso, the victim's granddaughter, and Eva Cardoso's niece, was the elder Cardoso's health care proxy and PCA program surrogate. The women allegedly billed Mass Health for services that were not provided, including for services allegedly provided while Dinora was inpatient and after her death, prosecutors say. According to bank records, show that Eva Cardoso regularly provided a portion of her PCA check to Kayla Cardoso. Mass Health paid Eva Cardoso over $140,000 for her PCA care of Dinora Cardoso. The case came to light on May 17, 2023, when Eva Cardoso called 911 to report her mother needed an ambulance. First responders say they found the victim covered in cockroaches, bed bugs, and feces at the senior housing complex. Local Fox affiliate WXFT reported that the conditions were so bad that the victim was stuck to the skin-encrusted bedding. First responders could not separate the woman from the mattress, so authorities had to take her and the mattress to the hospital where she could be separated from the bed, the outlet reported. She died 2 days later at a hospital from necrotizing fasciitis and sepsis due to infected ulcers, officers said. 7 days before the 911 call, Hamilton, a registered nurse, reported after a visit that the woman had been clean, well cared for, alert, and that her diabetes was well controlled, prosecutors said. She made no mention of pressure ulcers, feces, bed bugs, or cockroaches, they added. Hamilton's report allegedly contradicted EMT and hospital records that clearly showed Dinora Cardoso had completely uncontrolled diabetes and that the level of insect infestation she had experienced would have taken at least several weeks to accumulate, officials said. The defendants are set to appear in court again on January 15th. Ladies and gentlemen, how trifling is that? That is the highest form of disrespect, let alone neglect. That's your mother and you watched her waste away. Knew she had diabetes and bad ailments, and you sat there, collected all that damn money, you and your granddaughter, who I'm sure her grandmother was nice to her. You sat there and you let that happen. They said this was going on for weeks. You had a nurse, Miss Hamilton, ain't even do nothing. I want to show you something. That lady was 79 years old, right? I'm sure she cared well for her daughter and granddaughter, who both knew this woman because they was draining her like a sponge financially off of her conditions. You look at the age. Miss Dinora is 79 years old when she died. That's 79 years. You got 53 years old for the daughter, 31 years old for the granddaughter, and 64 years old by the nurse. Now, with all of those ages, you have experience in life of right or wrong and what's fair and unfair. 53, 31, that's 84. And then you got another 64. So that's 145 years of existing as a human being on the planet and caring for yourself and caring for others. And understanding that you have a relationship and a responsibility that you're getting paid for from somebody that cared for you for their years, as you was coming up. Not a lick of sense. They don't give a damn. They said this woman was on a shitty mattress covered with bugs and they're crawling all over it. And she was just stuck there because her skin was stuck to the mattress. Said they had to lift the mattress up and take the mattress, guys, with this woman on it to get her to the hospital because they couldn't remove her. First of all, it's embarrassing. Second of all, it's sad. I don't even know if Miss Dinora could even speak. And what she would really tell about how bad these pieces of shit treated her. That's foul. They treated this woman inhumane, like she wasn't even a human being. That is the equivalent of having a dog in a cage that you never take out and the dog is sitting there walking around in piss and shit. Unhealthy. Says she died, y'all, because of the neglect was so bad. She died from sepsis and all this stuff, from being in shit and all of that, and having them bugs on her and biting her and stuff, where when they had to cut her off the mattress, the wounds and stuff, the ulcers, bed sores, all that feces was already in her. Made her sick. That's a horrible way to go. From people that's supposed to love you, that you loved unconditionally while you were mobile and could do things. You think about that. You're laying in a room surrounded by people that are supposed to love you, and you're a prisoner in your own body, and you got shit crawling all over you. Hell, I don't like nothing crawling all over me. That make me itch. Could you imagine being there, being bit up by bed bugs, which is painful in itself, itchy, you can't scratch yourself, and you just there. And you constantly smell because you're covered in your own shit and piss in the mattress. When they transported this woman, I'm sure the EMTs was getting sick. Not only just physically sick, but just mentally. Like, who would do this? Man, there's people out here, man, that don't deserve the air they breathe. And I'm dead serious. They all know better, especially that fucking nurse. Why you ain't call that in? Greed, man. Human greed is something, man, that, Jesus Christ. Stock Market Steve for the Dynamic Reason channel. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Dinora Cardoso, may she rest in peace finally, because she was going through hell her last days on earth. And it's a damn shame that it was her kids that did that.